What's up, Bitcoin?
And we are live. Good morning, Crypto Warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto episode 1319. Today is Monday, March 31st, 2025, and I'm King here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. ish. And so this week is more than likely going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday only. I can already tell the news cycle is slowing down. Top stories of the day: California introduces Bitcoin rights and amended digital assets bill. Trump sons back new Bitcoin mining venture with Hut 8. Trump pardons 3 BitMEX co-founders being reported. And Vitalik Buterin meows at a robot and the crypto world loses it. But first and foremost, of course, let's go ahead and take a quick look at these prices to see how we're looking to make sure the house isn't burning and on fire and everyone hasn't lost their minds. And some quick shout outs, then we'll get to those stories. All right. Pulling this up, of course, I am using Coin Market Cap. Been using it for years. They've been doing a pretty decent job. Bitcoin's coming in at 81,852. More sideways movement down, or was down, but that quick up 0.3% on the 24-hour clock. Ethereum is at $1,825, up 1.1% on the 24-hour clock. Ripple at $2.09, down 1.57. Solana, number 6, $126, up 1.9. Dogecoin, number 8, 16 cent, down 2.46. Cardano, number 9, 64 cent, down 3.11. And number 10, Tron at 23 cents, up 2%. Fear and Greed Index is at a 24. Bitcoin dominance is at a 61.5, and Ethereum dominance is at a 8.2% as it increasingly goes lower. Those are your prices on the day. And again, Bitcoin and crypto is alive and well. Quick shout outs going on Canez, Martiz, Ali Pio, T Will, Chloe Dior, Ty Madden, JD Vincent, Crypto Jack, Super Mario, Satoshi Slim. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's jump into the show. Like I said, I can already tell we're about to hit that kind of slow news cycle. And forewarning right now, like I know I like to mess with everybody and trigger you all and stuff like that, but I will be super honest when I say I really don't care about the left or right, Democrat or Republican, but I did not think it was on my 2025 bingo card to be talking about Trump this freaking much. Like the guy is staying in the crypto news cycle. Like I'm specifically only talking about him when it comes to crypto, and somehow that family is staying in the crypto news cycle. I mean, I see how and why he was on TV at the very least. But before we jump into those stories, let's go ahead and jump to the top story of the day. We're here in the state that I currently reside in, California. California knows how to party. They really do know how to party, okay? California introduces Bitcoin rights and amended digital assets bill. California Democrat Avelino Valencia has amended a money transmission bill to make Bitcoin and crypto rights a major focus, potentially benefiting the state's 39.4 million residents. Says here, California's Assembly Bill 1052 was introduced as the Money Transmission Act on February 20th, 2025, but was amended by Democrat and Banking and Finance Committee Chair Avelino Valencia on March 28th to include several Bitcoin and crypto-related investor protections. Now, again, you know me, whenever I hear investor protection, I raise an eyebrow and I get worried because they're never here to protect investors. That's the first thing. The second thing I would say is it seems uncanny that a Democrat, and I had to, preface the whole thing earlier, but it does seem a little uncanny that a Democrat would be leading the charge in California to be pro crypto when the president, who all of California essentially, I won't say all, let me be California politicians, the left side for the most part, don't want to engage in, don't want to play with. It kind of seems counterintuitive for them to say, okay, well, we're going to be pushing Bitcoin forward and Bitcoin narratives forward to not only protect the investors, but because we want to, we want to see this realization of a Bitcoin and crypto future. I'm just not seeing it, especially that California being at odds with the federal government right now. They're not doing many things to go along with the federal government, and Bitcoin directly goes along with the federal government and the first family right now in the administration there. So I just don't see that being honest. And then what else are they saying here? Oh, and then the biggest thing, it was introduced as the Money Transmission Act. All right, they already introduced it. They already introduced it as an exhortive act. For those who don't know, this is something I've been talking about actually last month or so on this show when I'm like, hey, you can't just be a bank overnight. You can't just start an exchange overnight. Like now they want money transmission licenses. They really want a money transmission license for you to have your own wallet, which is absolutely crazy. These things cost $300,000. You need compliancy teams, so on and so forth. Like you're spending a ton of money on this type of stuff. And that was what this bill was originally titled. So to me, it's like, all right, you already showed your hand a month ago when you titled it the Money Transmission Act because you wanted digital assets to go along with that. But again, you have one Democratic lawmaker pushing back against it. They removed the term Money Transmission Act, renaming the legislation to Digital Assets. Again, it's a complete 180. You go from over regulating something brand new using the Money Transmission Act, and then you say, we're just going to name it the digital asset. So either you truly did have a 180 in the last month and a half, where you all say, you know what, let's not over regulate this thing, freedom to Bitcoin to the people, or you're BSing as you normally do, and you're using the buzzwords like protect investors and investor protections and things of that sort, and trying to change the wordplay when in reality you're not going to be doing anything. I don't know. We'll see as always. But California, as it says here, often sets the national blueprint for policy. Eh, didn't work out this last hasn't been working out, but we'll see. And if Bitcoin rights passes here, it can pass anywhere. Satoshi Action Fund CEO Dennis Porter said in March 30th statement. Once passes, legislation will guarantee nearly 40 million Californians the right to self-custody their digital assets without fear of discrimination. Again, I go back to something I've constantly said. Here's the deal. If you're okay with this, you have to be okay with the opposite. They're hyping this up to say, hey, once this passed, you guys can do self-custody without discrimination, right? And for everyone who hypes this up and says, yes, and I want to vote on this, you are essentially saying if it doesn't pass, then we do not have the right to self-custody. It will be illegal, and everything you do on your own will be wrong, and you will need a money transmission license. That is why it's such a slippery slope to even acknowledge the formal regulation of this environment, of this market, because formal regulation, when they say things like, hey, we're making sure you guys have the right to self-custody if this passes. It's like, so if it doesn't pass, we do not have the right to self-custody. We already have the right to self-custody, folks. It is an app of free speech on the internet. Okay, it's code. So again, that's why I'm kind of pushing back against this entire narrative. Hopefully, this goes well. You see, Satoshi Action Fund is also talking about this, so hopefully they're on top of it as well. But again, I highly doubt California, with the size it is and the way its money mysteriously keeps getting lost every year. We're at $1 billion deficit already, and all this other stuff is happening. I highly doubt they're saying we're going to introduce Bitcoin and cryptocurrency for the 40 million retail investors out there, and we're not going to have any dirty plays at hand. We're not going to do no type of taxation. We're not going to try to steal it. We're not, nothing negative is going to happen. We're going to do all this for the citizens. I just don't see it happening. And that's me being positive. The bill will also deem the use of a digital financial asset as a valid and legal form of payment in private transactions. Again, you don't need them to tell you that, it's already that. And would prohibit public entities from restricting or taxing digital assets solely based on their use as payment. Again, they're saying they're going to prohibit public entities from restricting or taxing digital assets. Do you really believe the government will not be taxing digital asset payments as payment in the future? I highly disagree. Again, they look to do things in 50 years. They want to pass little things every 3 or 4 years at a time. So by the time the 20, 30 years pass, you don't know how much freedom and rights you actually lost. I don't believe it. I hope they do, but I don't believe it. They say the bill will also expand the scope of California's Political Reform Act of 1974 to prohibit a public official from issuing, sponsoring, or promoting a digital asset, security, or commodity. We talked about that as well. And that's what I think they're really trying to get to. If anything, this is one of those bills where you have to kind of go down on a list of the line items to see what's the real goal here. This, I think, is the real goal. Again, California, we all know, is beefing with the Trump administration, which in turn makes them beef with the federal government. What's one of the ways they can cut the federal government, specifically Trump's legs from under him right now? And that's to get rid of him having his own meme coin and cryptocurrency factory at hand. I think that's what it's really about. And they're trying to sell it, saying, hey, we're doing this for the right of citizens. You can have your private wallet, so on and so forth. Oh, yeah, we're going to make sure a public official can't have it at the same time. Again, something else is at play. I'm not going to do a super deep dive on all this stuff here, mostly because it's just kind of being introduced as it's being amended, right? The bill has already been introduced a month and a half ago, but it's being amended. So I'm not going to pay too much attention until we start to see the votes happen, or if it gets passed in the House or Senate, whatever like that. We'll pay more attention to it in deep dive. But right now, is just is wishful thinking to me. It's wishful thinking, and I think the main reason they're doing it is to limit the power of the federal government, specifically a certain person, of course, in the federal government. But remains to be seen. As always, we have to wait and see. That's the crazy thing about this space. But if you think California just woke up and said, "Hey, we want to make sure our citizens have more money and do right," and are empowered and all this other stuff, they could start by making BlackRock and other corporations of that size not own the majority of single family homes and apartment buildings here in Los Angeles. Like, you know what I mean? They got one bedrooms going for $2,500 to $3,000. You think they care about us? They do not. Let's stop it. Stop it. Knock it off. Let me know what you all think in the comments right here. Crypto Jack said, like Richard Hart be saying freedom to transact and freedom of speech. All right, you must be a hexican. I have never heard anyone quote a Richard Hart one, nor am I going to co-sign that, but I get what you're trying to say. Jake said that Trump meme coin was smart. He got rich, made Democrats look like the horrible people to get rid of meme coins. LOL sheets. Great point. Strategically, yeah, he's going to make Democrats be the ones to shoot down meme coins and cryptos and things of that sort. So it was a smart play for him as well. Someone said, I feel triggered. Go buy some stripper fart coins to make me feel better. There we go, Satoshi Slow. Listen, I got to give the trigger warnings. I know how some people are. All right. I don't want y'all to get all itchy and scratchy. Why is King always covering Trump? I'm not trying to. You look at the news in the morning. You send me stories on Discord, okay? There are not many stories, and the Trump family is taking over. All right. It's not me doing it. I'm not just trying to cover them. But they're in the news. And speaking of which, let's go ahead and segue into it. Short stories, it is what it is. And here's what's crazy. Strategically, he people, you can hate him, love him or hate him, but strategically, as far as crypto, these next two stories I'm going to cover, I see why he's getting away with what he's getting away with right now in crypto specifically. And the first thing is this. This is absolute madness. I just talked about it the other day. I won't rehash the rant, but Trump's sons back new Bitcoin mining venture with Hut 8. It's technically not a new venture as it is a repackaged one. US President Donald Trump's sons partner with Hut 8 to launch American Bitcoin, aiming to build the world's largest Bitcoin mining farm with strategic reserves. To me, this was a page out of George Bush Sr. and Jr.'s playbook. If you remember when George Bush Jr. was in office, not only did he have us go to war with Iraq and all in the Middle East, talking about weapons of mass destruction, which didn't exist and no one charged him with a war crime, but he also stopped the essentially he also stopped the proliferation of electric vehicles, right? Renewable energy type of vehicles or any type of renewable energy sources out there and legislation. He put a stop to that. Why? Because his family, the Bush family in Texas, owned a bunch of oil farms. They had oil interests. They weren't interested in renewable energy. They weren't interested in electricity. Why? Because they had oil. This is the same thing to me now, where Trump's like, I'm not interested in banks or cash. Me, my family, and my kids are about to take over the crypto landscape. And you all are absolutely crazy if you don't see what else he's doing right now. He is positioning one of his sons to run for president here in the next 10 to 15 years. I hope you all realize that with some of these moves that are happening. So you all better draw lines in the sand with this family and make it stick and make it hurt if that's your plan, or support if that's your plan, whatever way you're going. But I guarantee, like some of these stories I'm reading, I'm starting to piece it together. I know how this thing works. He is putting his son in a position to run for president one day. I am telling you now. But it looks like Hut 8, a digital asset mining and infrastructure company, announced on March 31st that it is acquiring a majority stake in American Bitcoin, formerly known as American Data Center. The firm was founded by a group of investors, including Trump's sons, Donald Trump Jr., and Eric Trump. As part of the deal, since I can't speak correctly today, American Bitcoin will take ownership of Hut 8's Bitcoin mining hardware. Donald Trump Jr. said that the entrepreneurs behind the American data centers have backed their conviction in Bitcoin personally and through their businesses. Through the new venture, they aim to become the world's largest, most efficient, pure play Bitcoin miner while building a blah, 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 blah. All right, look, my dad's the president. He down with Bitcoin. I'm about to take over one of the largest data centers and Bitcoin mining centers out there. We're going to buy a bunch of hardware, and we're going to make sure our family pushes out the most Bitcoin in the United States. The only way to stop this will be through legislation, which won't happen because he's already on day one, week one, did what he was supposed to do, came out shooting at everybody at one time, and everybody's been shot, and now they're in the hospital and they're getting sewed up and they're trying to figure out what to do next. Meanwhile, he done bust that gun already. He's on to the next move. He's doing Bitcoin mining centers. They're still trying to figure out how to stop presidents from owning meme coins. It's already over. He owns it. He owns the meme coin. California, that's too late. You might want to stop this next thing right here. You need to stop public officials' kids from taking over American companies. That might be the next legislation you want to amend because you all are a step behind. He has already fired his gun in multiple directions. People have been hit and he's still shooting. Listen, this is people. I was gonna say the year one. This isn't even year one. This is the first few months, and his sons have two Bitcoin and crypto companies up under them. Wow. Do y'all not see what direction this is headed? Holy smokes. I want to be clear. This is where it gets, I'm not gonna get political, but I will say it's definitely gray area because it's like I want to say what they're doing is wrong, but the other folk, George Bush Jr. What he did was wrong. Let's go back to Clinton. Clinton was doing wrong. George Bush Jr. was doing a lot of wrong. Obama, I know y'all want to admit it and believe it. He was doing some wrong, folks. Obama was doing, he got a Nobel Peace Prize and he did the most drones in the history of droning at the time. He was bombing everybody, okay? Who do we have after that? You got Trump. We know he's doing some wrong. He don't even care. He's doing wrong. And then you got Biden and his family. They definitely did some wrong too. So it's just to the point where it's just a disgrace across the board, the White House. Everybody's doing wrong, but this is absolutely in the wrong as well. Your kids are taking over essentially the new market. You want to take over the economy, the global economy at that, and you're positioning your kids to do it for. And here's the thing: I don't want to see no complaints from the average American, right? Because I'm one of the people without kids. I see all you all talk about. Oh, if you got kids, I'll ride for mine. I do this. I'll break the law. How many parents in America have I seen on social media? I'll break the law for my kids. Somebody do mine like that, I'll go kill you myself. I don't care. That is you all's rhetoric for your children, right? So I don't want anyone to be upset with Donald Trump and how he's doing his children because that's the rhetoric for the average American I've heard out here as well, which is why pretty much our country's going to shit the way it's going to shit because no one wants to correct their kids, right? He's allowed to do what he wants. She's allowed to do what they want. They're allowed to do what they want. I get it. No one wants to correct their kids. So don't be mad that he's pushing his forward too. And this is the slippery slope I always talk about. This is the slippery slope I always talk about. And it's getting slippery and slippery, and people are sliding further and further. The best thing I can say is to build your portfolio. As Jake Fever said, make sure you own a Bitcoin, and people can't tell you as much as they want. I say that for a fact. But without that, good luck. With that being said, how is Trump able to get away with this? The next story up: Trump partners three BitMEX co-founders. Listen, I was just thinking before the show, there's only one song to go along with President Trump and these guys are doing right now. I just want to play this. I got to put it as a soundbite, but before I put it as a soundbite, I just had to play it today. Just you done fucked up, man. You done put two of America's most wanted in the same motherfucking place at the same motherfucking time. It ain't nothing but a gangster party right now, people. I listen. Don't be mad at me. You know, if I play this publicly on TV, we just played this clip publicly on TV. You know how many people would be upset with me right now? Oh, he played a verse of a song that used profanity, right? He's cursing on the internet right now. And meanwhile, I was like, bruh, this current president and the last president is fleecing the country in front of us. This is as gangster as a party as it gets. And I've been to some gangster parties, all right? When people are right in front of you doing whatever they want to do and you can't stop it from happening, you are officially at a gangster party. America, I know you don't want to admit it. I know you all don't want to admit it, but I know my warriors are smart enough. We are officially, we've been in one for the last few years too, because the Biden administration, hey, I know some of y'all love them, but come on. There was a lot of gangster stuff going on there too. But we are officially in a gangster party, all right? I don't know. I don't know what to say. Build your portfolios up, keep your Bitcoin tight, and you won't care that much. This is how he's getting away with putting his son in charge. People are like, how does he put his son in charge and no one's getting angry? Because he's taking care of the community, his constituents that put him in office. You remember the Libertarian Party? All the Bitcoiners, all the crypto folks who said we want Trump in, they wanted Trump in. They're going to give him their hard-earned cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and Dogecoin and whatever else. He's paying back what he said he'd do. Not only did he let Ross Ulbricht out, but yes, Arthur Hayes now, which a lot of people, including myself, did not think he should have been under investigation or been charged with anything, is now being pardoned. Arthur Hayes, Benjamin Delo, and Samuel Reed. previously pleaded guilty to federal charges related to money laundering. First, I want to point out all these people got your American names. You got a Samuel in there, you got a Benjamin, and you got an author. What else do you want from as far as the simulation goes? All right, they're kissing the ring. They're saying we American. They got the right names, right? All that good stuff. It's no foreign names in there or some of the names that people love to hate. I'm not even going to go there, but the names aren't even there. These are as American as it get. And America still threw them under the bus. And President Trump came and saved the day once again. This is why this guy is putting his sons in charge of Bitcoin and crypto companies. And you do have people like me who are smart enough to see, like, yo, what you're doing is like forget unethical and immoral, like immoral. Like it's probably super illegal. We were going to look at it. Like it's all wrong the way you're doing this. But nobody's pressing the issue because they're like, I mean, he did get Bitcoin to 108,000 and he is freeing everyone in the Bitcoin space and he is making the SEC drop all freaking investigations into every crypto company. So it's one of those things where it's like, hey, mind your own business. Don't count other people's pockets. Count, worry about your own money. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. I think that's what the community as a whole is doing when it comes to Trump. Again, we see it. No one's stupid. They're like, oh, yo, the Trump family is doing some interesting thing in Bitcoin and crypto as far as trying to take it over, right? But they're playing fair. It isn't like he's trying to do a fork or anything yet. As of now, he's saying, I got my own meme coin. I got my own platforms. We are going to have our own mining rigs. So to be fair, right now, when it comes to their constituents of crypto people, they're not really bothering this community. He's not bothering this community. What he's doing is like wrong on a grand scale. But as far as like, again, the people who put him in office, he's made them a lot of the money and he's freeing them. I do think this is why he's getting the grace he's getting. US President Donald Trump reportedly issued pardons to 3 co-founders of cryptocurrency exchange BitMEX. Shout out to BitMEX too. One of the first in the business, one of the first in town, had a great exchange. You can margin trade, leverage trade early on, so on and so forth. The SEC got mad at them that they didn't get their taste. They went after them. According to a who had pleaded guilty to felony charges, by the way. According to the March 28th CNBC report, Trump granted pardons to Arthur Hayes, Benjamin Delo, and Samuel Reed, who are facing a range of criminal charges related to money laundering or violations of the Bank Secrecy Act. In February 22, they pleaded willfully failed to establish, implement, and maintain anti-money laundering program at BitMEX, while Reed entered a plea a few weeks later. Essentially, all they did was not have a compliancy department for or regulatory environment for money laundering. Essentially, they weren't doing KYC, which is show me your ID or passport, proof of residence. They weren't doing all that. So since they said all you need is an email or a wallet to transact as crypto should be, they said the United States came back and said, well, every transaction on there, we're going to charge you one at a time. And that's how the money laundering charge was so big. This was ridiculous as it gets. And again, it was treasonous. They're going after American folks who are trying to do American innovation. And it came out now that the White House said, hey, y'all good. Don't you worry. I will say this. I'm happy to see it. And this is where it's like you got to gauge what risk you're going to take. Early on, folks, and more will come out very soon. We're almost done with some stuff. Full story, some things come out. Early on, I definitely could have done a lot of different things in crypto, but I was being warned that, hey, the SEC is coming after people like this. You remember Charlie Shrem went to prison. It wasn't like it was a haha, they might come get you. It was like, no, they're arresting and imprisoning 23, 24, 25-year-olds who are trying to innovate in this space. So it wasn't like a maybe or a thing. So it is hard to say, like, maybe something would have worked out, maybe it wouldn't. But I'm happy to see that a lot of people like Arthur Hayes who did take these risks, who were rewarded early on, and then it came back to haunt them in the form of the SEC, CFTC, whatever else, are now getting their freedom restored, right? So I'm happy to see that. It could have went either way for so many people. Some companies didn't make it, unfortunately. I do think those companies should figure out a way to countersue, whether it's under the table or not, right? Come to the SEC and President Trump say, hey, are you all ready to settle out of court? Do I have to make some noise? Because they already destroyed, and like Library Credits is gone. Library Credits is gone. The SEC went after them, destroyed them. They couldn't keep up. They didn't have the resources. They shut down. That was a good project. They are gone. I would love to see that entire team sue the SEC and win within a year and a half, because it's like, no. You're not going to drop the investigation of 10, 15, 20 other companies after you've already investigated, subpoena, and overregulated us to the effect that we went out of business. It's crazy to see that. But again, This is why I think everything's happening the way it's happening. You don't see people coming back out screaming at the SEC or even saying that much inflammatory remarks. You don't see people getting upset at the Trump family right now, even though technically, if he wasn't doing anything for Bitcoin and crypto, I guarantee you would hear the whole community screaming right now. How's your son getting a mining farm? How's your son getting this company? But how are you getting a meme coin, right? But since he's actually taking care of the community, you have people like me, even right now, that's not going in on him as I definitely would if the community hadn't been taken care of the way he's doing. If he hadn't freed Ross Ulbricht, if Bitcoin hadn't hit 108K, if he hadn't called off the dogs of the SEC, CFTC, I would have a different tune today. I probably would be like on the Evo rant to like his sons and blah 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 and BS. But it's like since they have taken care of the overall community, it's like I mean, if this gonna come with it, I'm seeing worse stuff being done in government right now. It is what it is. So I guess we need to get ready to see Trump's Jr.'s names all throughout the crypto space here for the next few years because they are getting involved in a major way. Yeah, Knez said, I wonder what the pardons will owe Teflon Don. Oh, you already know, uncompromising like allegiance. You already and if a third election were to happen, money, capital. No, I'm with you. What do they owe him? I think they don't owe him that much anymore because they paid for his election, right? If you remember the banks are freezing everything, things of that sort. I think he owed them. I think Trump owed the crypto community. Uh, and here's one thing for sure, and two things for certain. I think he's seeing himself through his meme coins and Bitcoin acquisition. I know his sons are telling him, and I'm sure the Bitcoin and crypto community as a whole showed him. You don't know how much money the Bitcoin and crypto community has. You don't know how much money. You literally don't know how much money the community as a whole. You know how much of the market is, right? You can kind of guesstimate. You don't know. I'm sure Elon walked in there, the Winklevoss twins, and everyone else, and you got a room of 10 people, and they're pulling out $1 billion. And you're like, wait, this isn't coming up on the dollar on the Federal the Reserve. This isn't coming up on our balance sheets. And everybody's like, yeah, that's all in Bitcoin, bro. You won't see that. You won't see that in realized dollars. You'll only see it on the. And he's like, oh, this is how it's working. And it's like, yeah, that's how it's working. I think once he saw that is when he kind of realized not only did he need the help of the libertarians and crypto and Bitcoin maximalists out there, but that he officially owed them because he couldn't just like right now, if Trump were to say, hey, F the whole crypto and Bitcoin community and blah, 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 that's a lot of money that could do damage to him, right? Right now, when you talk about Democrats trying to do damage to them, that's taxpayer money. When you talk about the Bitcoin community, the libertarian movement, and all these communities, that's everybody's own money. Who's living like regular? Who say, I don't care. I live in an apartment right now. You want to play games? I got some capital to play some games, and then I got some lawyers to back it up. Like we could play the games. So think about that at a billionaire level. They have the capital out there to play games. So I don't think that they feel like they owe him. I think he owed Arthur Hayes. I think he owed BitMEX. I think he owes the overall crypto community. And you're kind of seeing a symbiotic relationship right now where each one's helping each other and nobody's complaining, even though there's definitely some funny business going on in the background. All right. Last but not least, oh my goodness. Hey, Vitalik said, you want to see me make the price of Ethereum go lower? Hey, listen, here's the thing. I actually wrote about this for some of the people. More on this coming out too. More on this. You all gonna find out who wrote all the books here and probably. I'm trying to almost done. Probably another week or two, but you're gonna find out who wrote all the books. For those who don't know, I actually have two books published that I wrote back. I published them like 2013, but I wrote them like 2010 or whatever. But in these books, I talk about essentially like having and it's crazy because I actually went through the real experience, but having your friends as business partners and then people not maturing and being in high positions of business and making moves, maybe being at a press release and being goofy and the price of the stock drop. Like I wrote about that in 2013, a long time ago. I published this book that talked about that. I bring up this point because this is exactly what's going on with Vitalik Buterin. All right. It was like kind of for me, not at all, but I get it to the overall community, especially in the crypto community and the Bitcoin community, where you have a lot of like legitimate nerds, right? Uh, a lot of Vitalik Buterin's what am I looking for? The way he is, right? His being, his essence was normal to a lot of people, or wasn't that weird because they're the same way, right? Closeted, don't get a lot of sunlight, not lifting weights, skinny, pale, super smart though, right? Super smart, socially awkward, like a lot of people in this space can relate to him, right? Here's the deal. That's okay and relatable and kind of cool when you are starting a project, right? When you are innovating, when you are at the ground floor. But when you decide to not give up the reins, as I said in this space so many years, I've seen so many developers do. When you decide that I'm going to be the developer and the CEO, I'm not going to give up the reins, and you're going to be the face of the company, and it's 10 years later and you're no longer like the 17-year-old being weird, you're now the 20 something year old who's a freaking weirdo. Like, it's not cool anymore, you're scaring people. This story says, let's just go ahead and jump to Vitalik Buterin meows at a robot and the crypto world loses it, and I want to add, as they should, by the way. Looks like here several crypto commentators pointed out that the majority of their net worth is in the hands of a man who makes cat noises at a robot. Well, that is your fault, first and foremost. And secondly, I want to say something else before I dive deep into the story. I'm not going to go super deep because I'm already at the 30-minute mark. I'm doing terrible at time and get better. One thing I will say about this is I'm about to lose it because I was looking at the time. Oh, Ethereum in general, they are right now looking for any reason to blame their failures except their actual programming and development and code. For example, I'm now seeing, I'm sure you all saw this too. I'm seeing the narratives come out like, are layer twos to blame for Ethereum's like loss of value or Ethereum's not being so successful? Are layer twos to blame? Are they? I'm like, wow, you're blaming layer twos on Ethereum's failure? Like, they're there because Ethereum was failing. If anything, if layer twos weren't there, Ethereum would be a dead project already. A. B, something interesting you all might want to consider is what's going to happen to the layer twos if Ethereum does become a dead project. Kind of scary. And three, I know y'all not blaming layer twos on Ethereum becoming a dead project. Knock it off. I've saw about 2 or 3 stories of that this morning. I can tell they're going to try to push that as a narrative this week, which is all right. I was already like, you know what, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the news. Like, I'm not doing it every day when we're going to be talking about layer twos are pushing the Ethereum to the brink of failure. It's like, knock it off. You guys are reaching and clawing for anything. This is the reason right here. Instead of doing the right thing years ago, maybe scaling a different way or forking a different way or not forking at all, keeping the Ethereum classic, all of these different moves and behaviors of Vitalik Buterin have led us to this point where the last few weeks and not months, I've been calling for the death of Ethereum, not because I want it, because it's just naturally happening. It's like they're being passed up. Like, they are literally being passed up. It's happening fast. They're not the cool, bro. You're a 6-year high school senior. Leave. Right? Like, go. Bitcoin left. Bitcoin then went to college. They graduated from college. They got an MBA. And now Bitcoin's on Wall Street. Bitcoin is on Wall Street doing great things. Okay. Ethereum is still hanging around the high school, trying to show them some cool shit. I don't know. I don't know what people do at high schools and colleges after they graduate. Why are you all there? Leave. Okay. But my point is not cool and is not cute. He's a grown adult man now doing the same goofy shit he was doing when he was 17 coming out. This is called weirdo behavior. It is not applauded. If you've ever been to Southern California and Los Angeles, you know exactly what I mean when I say weirdo. It's beyond not a compliment I'm saying right now, folks. I'm talking fighting words right now. You don't do this when you have a bunch of people with money on the line. All right. It's that simple. It's unfair to them. It's unfair to the people who trusted in you, and it's unfair to the project as a whole. And it's unfair to the technology. But again, this is his. This is why people say it's centralized, and he can do what he wants. A video of Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin kneeling in front of a robot and seemingly letting out a meow sound has gone viral. And as usual, the crypto industry is already speculating what it might mean for Ether's future. Last but not least, one thing I want to say: you can't say who you had to hear this. How many times have I said, and I'm going to keep saying this and pounding on this until it's too late, because it will be too late one day. Right now, and I said this last 2 years, but I'll say it again. In 2025, by May, we need to have two votes, a national vote and a global vote, the world and the nation. What are we going to do? How do we feel about what rights do robots and clones have? I'm telling y'all, it's about to be too late to have this vote. We need to have the vote. What rights do robots have? There are going to be weirdos who want robots and AI to have more rights than humans. I am telling you now, the moment we put a personality pack version 3 into a vacuum cleaner and you push it and hit into a wall and it says ow, there will be humans that think I'm hurting my vacuum cleaner. Every time I knock it into a wall, it says ow. In fact, It's so as the AI and machine learning gets better, it's gonna be to the point, it's gonna be, hey, motherfucker, stop hitting me against the wall. Oh man, it talks back to me. It's real. We need to have the vote now. You all think I'm BSing when I first said this years ago. People were laughing and everything else. And now you have Ethereum co-founder, one of the largest crypto projects on the planet with the largest market share on all fours, meowing to a robot. We need to have the vote now. I'm going to say like we have to have the vote now because if not, this is going to happen. If we don't have the vote now, we already get self-driving cars. Wait until all these robots start getting personalities, which is really just going to be you and I coding things and put them into it. The people who aren't intelligent enough to separate this and who are going through whatever else, you right? All the people who this is my animal that makes me feel good. All those type of people, they won't use animals and humans anymore. They're going to start using robots. This is my feel good. This is my support robot or whatever like that. And it will only be so long before they say they have rights as well, folks. We got to stop this shit before it gets there. And you think I'm lying? You got one of the wealthiest, most notable people, one of the most, they say one of the most intelligent people on all fours meowing to a robot in 2025. You don't think this is going to get worse in 2035? This is supposed to be the genius doing this. What happens to the guy with half the brain cell who's been in the car accident, gets a hold of a robot? He's going to do less or he's going to do more. We got to vote. We got to vote on this shit. I'm just letting y'all know. Let me get back to this story. The future of Ethereum is in this man's hands. Meow, crypto influencer Wendy O said in March 29th X post. Court Protocol co-founder Phil Fogel shared a video and commented, so much of his professional life and net worth dependent on Buterin, but reiterate that the entertaining interaction makes him bullish. And this is why he does it, and this is why it keeps going. Certain people, I don't know how and why. I know you all have your guesses, but certain people are allowed to fail upwards. You got a guy meowing at a robot, and then you still have people say, "Yep, that makes me bullish." Listen, that's why I'm not mad when these projects fail. It's still people today after he meows to a robot saying, "I believe in this project. We're going somewhere." As it dwindles steadily down from freaking 11, 10%, 9%, 8.2% a day. Yeah, this is going to help the cause. And again, this is why we have meme coins, and you cannot be mad at the way people spend their money. This reminds me of Mr. Wonderful after FTX's downfall, saying that Sam Bankman-Fried was still a genius to him. And it's like, no, he's a scam artist. But nope, Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary said not only was he a genius, he would still hire him in another position. He said, I wouldn't let him control the money, but I would still hire him in these positions. Failing upwards. It's freaking crazy, folks. Community links video to ether price speculation. Folks are saying pray for our ETH bags and so on and so forth. I don't know. Let's get to the video. We're at the end of the show. I just want to see what happens. Did he really meow at this guy or this robot? Let me see this bad boy. Where does it go? How to do this? What's going on? Give me back. Give me back. Give me where we at? It's not letting me. Oh, this is the picture. What's going on? Is that the picture? I want to see the. Oh, is this the picture? Okay. So then let me get the video. They hit me with the. So that's one of the little spot robot dogs that the police and everybody use. And as you can see, he is on all fours and being Ethereum. I mean, listen, shout out to Vitalik. I love that you're unashamedly and unapologetically yourself. So shout out to that. However, again, it doesn't give a lot of investor confidence, and it's stuck on here. Look, they like, look, I can't even get off it. Shout out to Vitalik, man. Way to go, Ethereum. Worst time to do it though. You talking Ethereum ETFs, the SEC is looking at it, ETPs, futures, and all at the same time, they're like, here's the guy who's gonna lead the charge. Meow. Smash that like and share. I will see you all on Wednesday with some more news. Okay. I'm taking tomorrow off. It ain't gonna be no news tomorrow. You see, Vitalik's meowing. Ain't no news tomorrow. Smash that like and share, and I see you tomorrow. Hey, shout out to Reggie Milton. He said, I'm gonna need that pardon too. There's really only one more brother to be pardoned. No, Reggie, I would love to see you pardoned. Make the list, we'll sign it and we'll get it. Like we'll get it there. Same as Lynn Albrecht's Ross's mother. Give one of those signatory lists, a million signees, a million signatures for Reggie Middleton to have his freedom or his name restored from the SEC. I would definitely sign that list, Reggie. Smash that like and share, folks. I will see you all on Wednesday.